Taya's manifestation. It begins like an introduction to an amateur movie. The camera is a touch shaky, the image unclear and disrupted, in a desperate attempt to instantly immerse the viewer in the intended atmosphere. She finds herself in the old familiar hospital hallway on the 3rd floor. At the edges of her vision, the machine's runaway sparks frolic across the walls, but when she turns to look at them, they flee and cower in a safe distance, waiting for her to look away again before they bolt into their run once more. It's no mystery why so many horror movies make abandoned hospitals their location. Without the buzz of life and the calming sounds of the medical equipment, the place is unnerving. And yet, in a way alluring, intriguing. Taya steps forward, and she realizes she's dressed the same way she was that day. The expensive golden loafers meet the floor with their specific clink. It mixes with the natural rhythm of Taya's walk, and all she wants is to stop and kick them off. She hasn't worn these shoes since. Underneath her scrubs, she has a lace blue cardigan and jeans in a matching but somewhat darker color. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't matter that she's determined to face what lies ahead. In this moment, she can't get herself to walk across the hallway and reach the closed room at the end. She procrastinates. She brushes her fingers across the cold walls, marvels at how real they feel. Then she opens one of the other doors. Not sure what she expects to find there, but all she's met with is glaring void and an invisible wall which tells her, you know where you have to go. She does. Of course she does, she always will. What she doesn't know is why she won't take these shoes off. What's stopping her? Why does she seem to enjoy the anxiety the sound they make brings her? The closer she gets to the door, the more vivid the memory of this moment becomes. All of the sounds, the smells, the flickering of that one light bulb that decided to give up in the middle of the busy day. She stops right in front of the door and tries to understand the feeling that encompasses her. What should be dread is something else. It's not joy, not excitement. It's a yearning of some kind. Igar lays on the bed, unmoving. The heart rate monitor shows a flat line. It's been like this for a while before Taya snuck past the nurses to see him. His body, that is. She has to hurry with whatever she intends. His family is already on the way and she doesn't want to lie to them, make excuses. But of course, that's just how it was the first time. Now, no one is coming. It's just him and her. Igar was a 46-year-old programmer, a father of 2 teenage boys, an author of a website for a clothing company Taya used to buy things from. His eyes are closed, but she remembers their color. Or at least she's made one up to remember when he became the one patient she could never forget. He has deep crow's feet in the corner of his eyes, and it's no wonder. He laughed at everything and rarely ever stopped smiling. She once told him she aspired to be like that. What a joke. Igar turns his head to her and opens his greyish eyes. The line on the monitor doesn't change, but why should it? He's not human. He doesn't need a heartbeat. Taya meets his gaze and says, Igar, She needs to gather her thoughts and frame the apology in the way he deserves to hear it. She thinks she has time, for why wouldn't she? He's not a demon in the spawn of hellfire meaning. Just one whose very sight wrenches her insides in a way any hell servant would be proud of. And yet Igar doesn't seem to follow her expectations. He sits up, his shoulders hang low, and he glares at her with an unmistakable anger. Taya wants to step back, but she won't. She will not give in. I have done the best thing I could, she says. In the face of Igar's anger, she forgets about the casual conversation she wanted to start with. I did my due diligence. There was nothing in your medical history to let me suspect any adverse reaction. She expects him to speak now, to start spewing all the counter-arguments she screamed at herself in her mind over and over again for months. You could have run more tests. You could have researched the medication better. You could have checked my sister's records. You could have asked me more questions. You could have done something more. You didn't. Why didn't you? And she has a response to each and every one of these points and dozens more. She has her own truth. She has her therapist's analysis. She has her colleagues' words and anecdotes to cite in her defense. But Igar doesn't ask a single question. He doesn't even say a single word. He gets up from the bed, and now Taya steps back. There is no hellfire dancing around him, but she can swear he is submerged in darkness. She backs into the hallway and he follows her. With each move, he covers 3 or 4 of her steps, gliding across the floor. His thin body and the arms hanging inertly by his sides make him look like a mannequin covered with impeccably sculpted human skin. And yet when Taya bolts to a run, she doesn't take off her shoes. She reaches the hallway exit door and stops. She turns around. Igar stands a few feet away from her. And that's when he says, "Go. Run. I won't follow you there." "Why?" she asks, though of course she already knows the answer. "Why should I?" She lets go of the door handle and then, step by step, she walks right back to her demon. And this time she revels in the horrible sound these cursed shoes make, and she revels in the pain of Igar's hand that clutches her throat. She doesn't mind hitting the wall or sliding down to the ground. She doesn't mind anything else the demon does. She closes her eyes when he lashes with suddenly sharp claws, but not because she doesn't want to look, but because she needs to feel. Eventually he's done. Was it hours or days? Taya can't be certain. "I know you've done what you thought was best," Igar says as he stands towering above her, his hospital tunic red drooping heavy. "You're only human. And so was I. I forgive you." He moves away slowly. Everything is quiet now. He reaches the hallway's exit door and opens it, and then disappears behind it. The clink of the lock falling into place echoes in the silence. The redness flows over Taya's eyes, drips over her nose, fills her lips. There are no other smells or sights left. And it's okay. It's all good. Sometimes fairness and understanding can't soothe an aching soul alone. Sometimes closure comes with penance.